extremely successful coaches are good at many things, but more important, they are good in catching the number one reason why the client is reaching out to them.
Do you ever feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure about what to do next to grow your business? You are not alone, and this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Boost Your Business by Business Heroes. This is where service based entrepreneurs, whether you're delivering in person, online, or a mix of both, come to get the strategies, the insights, and actionable steps you need to level up your business with clarity, confidence, and impact. So let's dive in. Hi, Jens Edgren. Welcome to the show. Let's start with a short introduction of yourself and your business for those that do not know you yet.
All right, so I'm happy to be on the show, Sarah. So my name is Jens Edgren, and I've been coaching salespeople and service providers for the last 35 years. I'm an author of 8 books. I'm a father of 5 kids, and also a certified trauma therapist working with young adults who have suicidal thoughts.
That's an important job.
Thank you.
So all my entrepreneurs that I interview in this series are have a reason why they started their business. And for my listeners, that's kind of really insightful to know. So please share, why did you start your business?
All right. To be honest with you, Sarah, I wanted to be free. I wanted to be free from being employed, and I wanted to be in control over my own destiny. And I wanted to do the things that I want without having to ask anyone else for permission. That was the number one important thing why I started my business, and um, I still like that intention in my personality to actually be free. Now, but what drives me to every day, 5, 6 days a week for more than 35 years to work with sales and coaching is I believe that every single person I meet have a great potential. And my job is to liberate that potential and find the small things that could help that individual to achieve whatever success they're looking for to get. I'm obsessed with that purpose, and that purpose never ends.
And that's why I feel so passionate about bringing people on the show like you to share your insightful experiences and knowledge in different areas. And today we're going to talk about coaches and how we can help coaches be better at the conversation they have with a potential client. And since you are like an expert in this, I'm so happy that you're here to share that.
Thank
So
you.
let's move into the main conversation and talk about that many coaches that are servicing clients, they focus much more on like servicing, the servicing part of their business, the delivery part of their business, and they feel like hesitant or like stressed of having conversation with potential clients. So, like, how can we shift the mindset of those coaches that should talk to so many more people because they need to help so many more people to actually get that transformation that the coach can give them? But like, what are your thoughts about the mindset part?
Okay, so every coach I meet, they possess great potential of helping other people. Now, the trap of being a coach is that you're supposed to be so good, so people just queue up outside your house or fill up your mailbox or call you every day. But the competitiveness in the coaching industry is enormous. And since most coaches are super good, how could a client know which coach is the best? So, and coaches hate to sell because they believe they sell out themselves and they deserve to be bought, not to sell. So this kind of boils down to one of the core competencies I've seen with extremely successful coaches. Extremely successful coaches are good at many things, but more important, they are good in catching the number one reason why the client is reaching out to them through Facebook or a call or joining a webinar or however the client turns up in their interaction. And they are looking to find the reason why this person decide to spend time with them in one or another format. An extremely successful coaches grabs that little, you could say golden thread and say, hey, since you showed up at my webinar, it seems like you have a good reason. Would it be crazy for you to share that reason with me right here and now? And maybe I could be a guide to you to fulfill that wish that you have. That is one of the skills that these coaches have. And that, in a way, is selling because we find the problem or the dream or the wish that the person have, and then we are instrumental in helping that person to fulfill that wish. By having this approach, we don't have to use some of the sales techniques that you may be taught in other coaching programs, such as building marketing funnels or closing the deal and coming with a ridiculously good, valuable offer. You simply are the guide to the person that this is talking to you. Does it make sense, Sarah?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense and aligns a lot to how we teach people in our program in Business Heroes. So it's really, I think it's sad that people do not take that opportunity to up level their like conversational skills, because it's not selling, it's actually helping. But to help someone, you have to be conversational. And being conversational means that you really need to be so curious about your clients, to get inside of their head and understand why they're frustrated, or why they don't feel like they are good enough, or why they feel like they are stuck in their way. So you can bring that conversation in, like you said, how would it be terrible if, and we could then talk about that. So I love that. It's really like to the point, what I think a lot of coaches need to know. So instead of thinking about all the bad conversation we have with people that have a sales role, that's their title that they have on their business card when they call or they send cold emails or they jump on like on you when you are going through the like a fair and you pass their booth and they are so aggressive. And I think that that's what we want to be attractable. We want to be likable. We want to be trustworthy. And to be that, we need to be human and listen. And I think that's important in the AI kind of world that we are in, that we really need to get closer to being human to human and having a true conversation and dare to open up and be vulnerable to actually say, hey, I have this problem. I don't know how to solve it. And I really, really need your help. So thank you so much for bringing that up. So coming from that conversation, what would be something that a coach today can up level to be better and uplift their skills a little bit better when it comes to this sales part of the conversation?
Yeah. All right. So, Sarah, first I'd like to address some of the typical mistakes that I see in coaches do. I'm working with a few very successful coaches. And the first thing I did was to listen to some of their taped or recorded customer conversations, right? And the normal setup is like you have someone joining a Facebook group, and then you send a message to them, and then you get into a conversation. That's pretty standard, and that's pretty good, right? So I listened to one of these conversations with the coach, and started pretty good. The customer said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about a certain desire or a certain problem I have or a dream I have," and instantly, and I'm talking about a matter of seconds, the coach suggested her program. The coach said, "Hey, I think you should go my program, and here's the program. It's a Facebook group, it's a coaching session, and here's the cost for it," right? So after, like, let's say 30-40 seconds, the coach tried to sell a high level program to a client who's barely starting to understand they want to do something. Now, what happened in that conversation was that the customer came up with a few objections why it wasn't the best time to do the program right now. And the coach lowered the price in 3 steps, and finally nothing happened, right? So I worked with the coach and showed her the recording to the point where the customer said, "Hey, I'm looking to improve my personal life. I want to be better, father, lover, coach, whatever." And then I taught her to stop right there and say, "Hey, that was so interesting you said to me right now. Tell me, why is this thing you mentioned now important right now for you? And if you were to solve this problem or fulfill this dream, how would your life look like in 9 months? Now, as you can imagine, Sarah, the client started to talk a lot about their dream, their problems, their situation. And the coach could say, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And then when the client stopped talking after about 7 minutes, the coach said something I taught her as a mini close. So is that why we have this conversation? And the customer said, yeah, that's right. Okay, now we created both an understanding of the customer's needs, wants, and wishes, right? And also a confirmation by the coach. So that's why we have this conversation. Customer says, that's right. Now, I taught the coach to be silent for a minute, say, hey, I need a minute to process what you just told me. I need some time to think about what you just told me. And I need to think a little bit about some ideas I could be helpful for you, right? And she took 1 minute break and turned on some beautiful music in that minute, right? Now, just imagine what happens with her as she processes the thoughts of the client, and the client is waiting for some ideas, right? It's called the expectation. We have some expectation now. And when she came back, she used another tool I taught her called a mini story and say, hey, client, before I give you some ideas how I can help you, I want to share a short story how I helped the client in a similar situation. And she shared a very short story about 20-second story about she was working with another man who had some issues with his family, and how he could improve his life quality by being more genuine. That was the content of the story. And then she transitioned to say, hey, I want to share some of the tools with you that I helped this other person with. Would that be crazy? Customers said no. All right, so let's talk a little bit about money. Have you thought anything about investing in yourself? And when did you do that lately? So just want to stop right here. So instead of pitching her program, solution, whatever, she said, hey, is that why we have this conversation? And she let the customer talk. And that customer, like most people, just like I'm doing right now, we just want to be talk and we want to be listened to in a positive way. So and this coach I'm working with, she used this very simple method to improve her sales techniques. And she's closing about 80% of her customer conversation calls by using
Wow.
this soup. Yeah, that's right. With less effort, right? And the conversations are shorter because she don't have to pitch 2, 3, 4, 5 times. She simply say, "Hey, that's why we have this conversation. I want to take a minute to process your, whatever you said to me." And then she comes back with a mini story. She offers her help. She talks about money in a safe and emotional connected way. And they say, "Would that be crazy? We start doing this program right now?" And the customer said, "No."
And I think that that's a lot of people that are coaches. They get into a certification of a coaching program, or they learn a specific skill, or they're senior in and very experienced in an area, and they made results for their clients, and they say, "Hey, let's make a coaching program of this or a coaching service." But they never went to sales training.
That's
They
right.
never
That's right.
learned how to be a like sell coaching, which is different from selling a product. And I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
that's the key point here, that if you are looking for like techniques or sales techniques, you are not a salesperson, you are a coach, and you're going to
Mm,
sell your coaching services, which is
mm,
different because you are going to work with your clients as well. So it feels like that you almost sell yourself. And that's when it becomes so uncomfortable for a lot of people. So the mindset needs to be, I'm going to help this person because I'm the right person to help that person, because I have the tools and the skills and experience to help that person.
mm,
And I
mm,
have done it before. So I have those stories
mm.
that I can pick
That's right.
from that
Yeah.
aligns with that person I have a conversation with here and now. And
Mm,
it doesn't have to be complicated. So what you exactly like step by step told us now is super valuable for so many coaches that feel so uncomfortable. And now they have like a script kind of to be present in the
that's
conversation.
right.
instead of thinking about the next question or the next sales technique, kind of like spinning or whatever they call it in the sales arena, but really think about how can I help that person right here and now, and how can I really deeply understand that person, and how can I showcase that I actually know what I'm doing, and make it easy for that person that might not have heard about you before, that came into your website, schedule a call with you, and now they're here, and now in maybe a Zoom call or on the phone. And that's a first impression. And if your first impression being human and being someone who's curious about that person and helpful, then that's not kind of hard selling. It's helpful and servicing. And you also have the possibility at that time as a coach to decide if you want to work with this person or not, because it's also up to you to vet that person. Is that person someone who's coachable? Is that person that someone that I'm actually can help transition from A to B or not? And I think that what you also say is like, when you listen, you also understand that maybe when you come back to say, hey, you know what, I cannot help you. And that's also important. If that's the case, when you feel like this is not going to be someone I can help, then I think it's truthful and easier for both of us to decide immediately that I don't think I can help you, but I have a colleague in the industry that might have a program that could help you. Is it okay if I refer you to that person? I think that's also trustworthy and something that people feel very surprised by a lot of time, because we are so used to by my coaching program, instead of really listening in and figure out if this is the right person for you as well, for that person to decide, is this person a helpful like human that can help me transition? Because being in a coaching program is usually very vulnerable and very scary at times, because if you don't open up, you're not coachable, you're not open to change, and the coach cannot help you transition. So I think that's also a way of feeling like a tiny bit of how a coaching could be with you at that conversation, if they decide to work with you.
I think, Sarah, I think you have a valid point here, and I'd like to give another perspective on that, if I may.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say you are a coach and you wanna work with high-end clients. You wanna sell programs that could give you, let's say, a good financial status, and you can make some money, right, about your coaching program. Now, so if you work with a certain type of clients, let's say, who are, with all respect and honesty, some people may don't have the best financial situation in the world. They may be, burned out, or have difficulties in their home. They can't afford to pay your fees. And if you decide to work with those clients, you're gonna deliver high-end services to a low-end pay, and that's fine. It's called charity, and I do some charity work myself. I have no problem with that, right? But I cannot build my financial situation by doing charity work unless I'm very fortunate and rich, which I'm not, right? So I need to select enough clients that are high-paying clients, and actually those high-paying clients could be referrals to other high-paying clients. And I've seen this, some coaches are able to, let's say, select people who can also be a stepping stone to a community of other high-paying clients, and they quickly make a lot of money and deliver high-end services to people who can pay for it. But I also see some coaches who are stuck in the charity side of business, and sadly, they have to take extra jobs. I may sometimes be in cleaning other houses. That's a fine work. I've been doing that myself in my career, right? But if I want to be a coach and I want to make a living, I need to change my belief system so I can attract the high paying clients, and maybe let some of these charity clients go and find other sources. I know it's breaking my heart as I tell you this, Sarah, but if I want to make money, support my family, I need to also think about, is this client's going to pay my lunch or not? And if not, we may have to find someone else and let go of that charity work at this point of time. Does it make sense to you, Sarah?
It makes total sense. And I think that, like, if you are like, coaches are usually very human, and they really feel for
Yeah.
other people and feel like they don't want to, like, they don't have the money, but I still want to help them. Decide then, if you have, like, if you have a few clients that you service at the same time, do you decide how many of them could be then charity work, but not all of them. Like,
Yeah.
you have to have paying clients to be able to deliver the
Yeah.
charity. And you can actually have that in your conversation, in your brand. Say, do you know what? I have some charity person, like charity offers. So if you do not have the money, but you still need the help, you can apply for a scholarship, or for like a specific thing where you can maybe have a little
Yeah.
bit less money, or actually you give it for free.
Mm.
But then the other clients understand that you are actually a heartfelt centered person, that they feel like, of course, I'm going to pay your fee, because
Mm.
I know that it's also going to add the possibility for someone else to have
Yeah.
help from that person as well. So it's a good branding thing as well.
Yeah.
If you just
Yeah.
up level to that, but it's a mindset shift again, not helping
Mm.
everybody just because you can. Help the people that can actually pay for it,
Mm.
and then start helping others.
That's right. I want to move into a few techniques here, Sarah, if you let me, on how to actually structure the sales call and to ask questions in a different way. Will that
Please.
be okay?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. Okay. So, I've been in sales for more than 35 years. I've been delivering sales trainings to sales executives around the globe, right? So, but my life as a trainer and a sales trainer and a coach as a human changed because I had family problems, to be honest with you, and I needed to find solutions that were outside the beaten track. So I have spent a lot of money and a lot of days in personal development in many steps. But I went through a training called Somatic Experiencing with Peter Levine, one author and a famous coach from US a couple of years ago. And I'm a certified trauma therapist. So I do work with suicidal young adults. Now, the thing is, why I bring this information up is that when you talk to a person, could be a boy or a girl, and they're like, everything from 13 to 21 years old, and you ask them like questions, how are you today? Could you get a good life? You do your homework. We all gonna get scripted answers. They will tell us exactly what we want to hear. They are bullshit masters, if you let me say that, right? So they are expert therapist clients because they can just give me exactly what I want to hear. So I learned how to ask questions in a different way. Because if I want to get in, not into their head in a negative way, but if I want to find the thing that could motivate them to change some of the things, some of the behavior they have, I need to ask different questions and I do it in a different way. So I'm not just, doing whatever who else has done with them, right? And I learned a very simple, powerful method I want to share with you right here and right now. And then I'm going to show you how to apply this model into your sales conversations. Would that be okay, Sarah?
Yeah, that's why you're here. Give it to
Yeah.
us.
Okay, right. So I don't know if you have a driving license, the person watching this show here, but you may have been seeing a traffic light in your life, right? So everybody knows around the globe, if it's red, we stop. That's the best way of surviving that day, at least, right? And then we get alerted when it's coming yellow or orange. Okay, good to go soon. And then when it's green, we step and we go, right? So imagine you have a conversation with someone. Their first thing about talking to you is red light. Can I trust this person? Can I feel safe with this person? If I tell Sarah some of the stuff that's really bothered me, will she treat me good or will I be mistreated by her? So our brains are wired to detect danger. And I would be safe to say that about 75 to 80% of our thoughts are negative oriented because we just want to make it another day. So when a coach asks a client the question, hey, why are we having this conversation? It might be feel a little bit like stingy, or would you buy my services as no? So the first reaction to any interaction with someone else, someone unknown, is normally a negative one, even if they approach you. Okay. And so the first thing we need to do is to create a safe atmosphere with the person. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, the second step in the client conversation is to create curiosity. So, and that could be done in many ways. One of the ways I would suggest that, would you be slightly curious in to hear how other coaching client has changed their life in a positive way? Could that be of slightest interest for you? And they go, yeah, yeah, tell me more. Now we have a curious atmosphere where the person feels safe. And just imagine a mouse coming out from a hole in the wall, seeing cheese. First thing you want to so there's no cat around here. I could stick out my nose and see if it's okay. All right. Now we create a curious atmosphere. And then when we talk with the client and they feel safe with us, we could safely ask more questions. And now we are into a part where people feel playful and we can ask questions like, how would you like to do this? How would you like to work with us? How would a positive future look like? And then we can use how questions because when we feel safe, we have access to both our brain halves and we can be creative. And thing, Sarah, it's like when we feel creative, like kids are creative, and when we feel creative in a workshop, time stops and we feel free and motivation comes like boom, and we want to take action to fulfill our dreams. All right. So so the first thing I would advise any coach or seller to do is to create a few questions where we can make people safe. The first question would be like, hey, you reach out to me now. Yeah. Client says, yes, that's right. Would it be crazy to talk about why we have this conversation? Is it unthinkable that you share with me some of the things you're looking for to change? Now, the nature of the question is we ask for a no. Would it be crazy for you to share some of the things you like to change? Customer says no. And as soon as people say no, it creates a reflex in their nervous system that they are safe because people who can say no feel safe. It's a clear boundary. Are you totally booked for the next week for a coaching call? No, I am not. Right? Okay. So, all right. Now, when you say it's okay to talk about the things you want to change, how would you like to share with me the things you like to change? How would you like to tell me enough so I can give some support? It's a how question, but also it's a little bit of a challenge because we want the customer, the client, to tell us how we can have a conversation. Since it's a how question, they have to think how they want to do it. And maybe the client says, I'd like you to tell me about your services first. Then I'm going to tell you about the things I want to change. But most people will say, hey, I want to tell you what I need. Then I would like to know how you can help me. Fine. Now we have a contract, how the conversation can flow. And the contract is that client tells me first what they want to change, and then I'll tell the client how I can help the person. It's a very simple contract. And that could be the other way. I share to the client first how I help people. And then if that sounds okay, then the client can tell me what they want to get help from, right? Does it make sense? It's a
Yeah.
contract. And then finally, we can move into the green zone where we can discuss some of the topics, right? Now, most coaching clients, they are very stuck in their dream, their wish, their pain, their problem, right? And what they need is a perspective outside their belief system. And here's a sensitive area because if the coach, given they are super experienced coaches, if they tell the client what they think, the coach think they need, we are going to run into big problems because that's not why we have this conversation. But if the coach shares mini stories with a client, hey, I want to share a short story with you. We educate and we motivate the client to step out of their belief system into a changed way of seeing things. And we give the coaching client hope. That's what we pay people for, to give us hope. And by giving people hope, we could then say, hey, I want to share a short story with you, right? And once we share this short story, we can say, how could this work for you? How could your life transform in this direction? And then maybe the coaching client says, yeah, that would be nice because. And now we are into something we call a dream or a vision or something that's a positive future. And then we can start sharing how we can help the person in terms of money, in terms of the coaching program, in terms of the way we normally help other people to do that. And then we sold basically. So selling is super easy because all we have to do is to make people safe, create a bit of curiosity, and share how we helped other people and say, would it be crazy? We did the same for you. And normally they would say, no, it's not crazy at all. Let's start right now, right here. And that's how I sell normally. I never send proposals or almost never. I never follow up people and say, hey, would you like to buy or not? Say, hey, would it be crazy to start right now? And people know most people say, yeah, we can do that. Let's start next week or whenever time is bookable. That's the simple three-step process. Safety first, and then curiosity, and then we come into the how questions and playfulness. It's all right?
It makes so much sense, and it makes so much like when you say that you build hope, or that's what people buy. They buy hope.
They buy
Uh,
hope.
they buy also hope and understanding that it's possible for them to change. It's not just hope for you to teach them something. It's
Yeah.
for them actually to make the transformation that they're looking for. And I think that's the self-esteem that they get, the
Mm,
awareness that they can feel like strong and say, I can actually do this. And I now found a guide that can help me transition. So I think it makes a lot of sense in the way you talk. And I think, like, again, step by step, which is really important for our coaches that are listening to this, that are in the mindset of having the day-to-day, everything works out, and
that's right.
they're so busy work. And now they have a step-by-step program to
Mm,
like just deploy into their business immediately. For the next conversation that you have with your clients,
yeah.
follow Jen's like outline and see what happens in that conversation and learn from that and then iterate for the next one. But how long would you say like a conversation like this is?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I like to answer your question, Sarah, but I also like to talk about money. All right.
Yeah.
But first, I'll answer your question. Then I'm going to move into the money side of things.
Yeah.
Will that be okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So the interesting thing, all right, and I've been listening to so many calls. Actually, this morning I listened to two coaching calls, right? So I listen to calls every day, almost. All right. So the interesting thing is that when you say, "Hey, would it be crazy?" We start here, and then we move through the three steps. The conversations get about, they're going from, let's say, 50 minutes or 45 minutes call to 30% of the time because we move super fast, because we create safety, curiosity, and playfulness, and then we can shorten our sales conversation about everything from 50 to 75%. So we get more time because we use the time in a different way. So we can actually have more sales conversations in one day than in the Norway where we try to pitch our coaching program, handle objections, etc., etc. Right now, I would say the average coaching call would be around 17 minutes. All right. So the sales call would be everything from 12 to 17 minutes. If you pass 30 minutes, you are either having a bad structure, or you are trying to sell too much, or you actually coach through your selling your sales call, and you should never coach on a sales call because it's a sales call. So if you have longer sales calls than 30 minutes, you are doing something that's not optimal. And I would advise you to set your clock and see if you can clock down to 17 minutes, ideally 15 minutes, right? That should be enough, and a little bit challenging how you can move so fast. All right. Some of the sales conversation I have is around 7 to 9 minutes because I use this model super efficient. Okay. And that's pretty liberating to people, right? So I want to talk about money. Okay. Because money in many cultures is very sensitive. And most coaches and service providers and salespeople, just like myself, we tend to mention money, if at all, at the end of the conversation, at the end of the sales conversation. And that normally leads to a comment from clients that, hey, that was a lot of money. I need to think about this, right? And then we got 2, 3, 4 minutes left and try to manage that. It's not working good. So I want to take the money and I want to move the money question back in the early first couple of minutes in the conversation. Okay. So we go back now. I told the mini story to the client. I say, hey, is this in the direction you want to work with me? Customer says yes, or could potentially be yes. Okay. I want the coach to address money right here and right now. Say, hey, let's talk a little bit about money. How have you thought about investing in yourself? And what are the benchmarks you use when you decide to spend money on yourself? The customer may give you a blah answer because they didn't thought about it and say, hey, do you have lunch on, do you go out and have lunch on restaurants? Do you have a gym card? Do you have a car? Do you pay your electric bill, right? And say, would it be crazy that you spend just the same amount of money on yourself in your coaching as you pay for the gym card? So we use some kind of an anchoring point where we simply help the client to decide what is a fair amount of money to spend in personal development, right? And if they have no money, you would know it right now. And you can make a decision to end the call or transfer the client or investigate if there is some way for the client to get some resources. And this is so important because it also shows the will of the client to invest in themselves. And another way of doing it is to say, hey, most of my clients are spending everything between X and Y every month on developing. Does that sound crazy to you? What is a fair amount of money you could spend on yourself? And then we know and we can process the answer in a healthy way. Then we can come back. Most coaches I work with and I seen do some work, they have, various levels of their pro. Could be a Facebook group that's fairly cheap. It could be individual coaching, could be a full stack, right? So they may say, hey, based on your financial situation, would it be crazy to start with a Facebook group? Or it seems like you are really, really interested in spending some money on yourself. I wouldn't be afraid of using the word spending money on yourself. I would go straight on. And I'm not shameful when I say I think you should go for the full coaching program right now because it seems like you are looking for a quick result. You're willing to spend some money on yourself, and you are super ambitious. It sounds crazy to you. Let's get started right here. So mention money very early on and using benchmark, how much do you spend on a gas bill or a gym card or food or whatever? Would it be crazy to spend that much money on yourself? How does that sound to you, Sarah? Approaching money this way.
I think it's really, really healthy to have that conversation because it's going to save you time and effort for both parties. So if it turns out that that person didn't know that you had a high ticket offer, that person needs to go out and find someone else. And
Yeah.
instead of taking your time so you can do something else and that person can take their time and do something else. I think it's really,
Yeah.
it's healthy to do that and it's smart. And I like to talk about how to do smart things in business and use your time wisely and be efficient because we don't want to spend all your time talking to people and servicing all the people. You want to spend time doing your interests and spending time with your family and your near ones and your dear
That's
ones. So
Yeah.
I think that the more like self-guard we can be. Do you think that you can have like a form or something before a conversation just to vet the people more easily if you turn out to say, I'm attracting maybe the wrong people to the calls and it blocks me from actually talking to the people I want to talk to? So I know that some coaches have a form before they can schedule a call
Yeah.
just to make
Yeah.
sure that we are on the right track. And if you see immediately when you get the form results
Mm.
that this person is not actually a high-ticket client, maybe they could downsell it
Mm.
to an online course or a membership or
Yeah.
something, which is
Yeah.
not leaving them, but
Yeah.
supporting them in a way that actually is sustainable for them at the
Mm.
time. And when
Yeah.
they have the money and they understand that they need your help even more, they
Mm.
are now more ready for your high ticket.
Yeah, that's right. So have you seen, Sarah, in your, I know you do a lot of work with coaches and you help people to be successful over the world in various ways. Have you seen people struggling with the money issue,
Oh,
being
yes.
afraid of talking about money or talking about money in the wrong way? Have you seen that in your career?
Oh, yes, absolutely. One of the most, like in our like Business Heroes Academy, one of our first things that we do in module, like in our phase one, is a milestone that we call like get real about money. And it's
Mm.
more about if you are afraid of money and talk about money, if you are uncertain about that and not clear what you want when it comes to money, because money is going to get you somewhere. Money is going to give you the possibility
Mm.
to do charity, or the money is going to make you do that trip with your family or work less
Mm.
hours just because you have more money. Then you have to be clear on that and be confident in that.
Yeah.
So when you
Yeah.
have this conversation, that you can have it with, like, you come from a point of clarity and decision and not be, oh, by the way, it costs money.
Mm.
And I know when we do those trainings with our clients, when it comes to get clear on money, they understand that some people go to work and they pay for going to work. So
Yeah.
they are
Yeah.
actually subsidizing their clients instead, and they are not bringing home enough money, which is crazy. And when they see
Yeah.
that, when we look at those numbers, they feel like, but I made my price based on my people that are just close by me regionally, or
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
I heard someone say that they bought it for this and then I priced it for this. Instead of saying,
Yeah.
do you know what? I have to raise my prices every year because I have more experience now. I serviced more
Yes.
clients. I
Yeah.
did more
Yeah.
trainings. I did
Yeah.
more. I read more
Yeah.
books. I made some more podcasts.
Yeah.
I made a lot more. And I have more under my belt. I have more in my tool set to
Mm.
help people
Mm.
transition faster or with bigger results. And then it's
Mm.
gonna cost more money for them to get that
Mm.
what I invest in myself. When they
Yeah,
invest
that's
in
right.
themselves, they have to pay for that, and I have to pay
Yeah.
for myself and invest in myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's when people see that, they're like, oh, really? I didn't understand, because they don't have the same education as I. They don't have the same
Mm.
mortgage that I. They don't have the
Mm.
same space in the area where I work. So
Mm.
they compare apples and pears, and it doesn't
Mm.
work. So I totally agree with you that people are not just afraid of money when it comes to having a conversation with clients, say, hey, it costs money. It's
Mm.
also afraid of, can I invest in this? Can I invest in this? Because
Mm.
they feel like uncertain about money because they don't understand, like,
Mm.
money comes in and money comes out, but how? And how much do I need to have extra each month
Mm.
to invest in the company, to grow it even more, to attract more
Mm.
clients? So
Yeah.
it's a bigger picture than just having the sales conversation. But if you don't bring in money, there is no money for you. So you have to have
That's right.
sales conversations and talk about money clearly and confidently.
I want to take an example from my girlfriend, my fiancée, right? She's very interested in a certain coach, and that coach has a high ticket program. It costs a lot of money, thousands of dollars to do the program. And she want to do the program, but she cannot really motivate the spending because we bought a house, right? Now it turns out that this particular coach has packaged her offer in certain levels, right? So there's the end-to-end high ticket coaching, and then there's like inner circle program, and then there's this. Finally, there's e-learnings online. Okay, that's already done. A number of e-learnings that are pre-recorded, they're available through a portal, and that high-end coach offered these e-learnings to a, let's say, a fair entry price. So my fiancé decided to spend a few $100s to enter the pre-recorded e-learnings that are, no cost for the coach to deliver because they're done, and she consumes the sessions whenever she wants to do that. And I'm afraid that my fiancé will say, "This was so great. I would like to take the next step." Right? And I'm even more afraid that once she takes the next step, she want to go even further, and I'm going to end up paying her bill. Okay, So that's another way of creating money, is that you motivate the price of the pre-recorded e-learnings or the Facebook group by sharing the price for your high-end coaching, right? It's called anchoring, right? And the more we charge over here for the few inner circle clients, the more we could actually charge for the pre-recorded, mass marketing stuff. And then we get this, I know you like this recurring revenue, it's called evergreens in the coaching industry, right? You get people to join in, right? But we need to have the conversations first, and we need to anchor the investment. And then maybe we could offer various ways, like for my fiancé, to enter the coaching program at the fair, financial, viable way.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot in our programs. We talk about multiple income streams and
Yeah, that's
also
right.
not leaving the client when they have a problem and they don't have the funds for it. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
lower our prices. We just give them something else that is sustainable for both of us. And
yeah.
then we can grow with that. And I know a lot of coaches have those programs, and they have really good people that stays around for years to come because they're waiting for the next thing that they can
Yeah,
afford, and they save up for the next step,
yeah,
which is like they become friends with the
yeah.
people that are coaches, and they want to be, specifically if there is like a community some part, like you say, the Facebook group. You don't want to have the fear of missing out if you leave that. So that's why evergreen or membership works so well. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
good way of attracting the right people in the
Mm,
right phase where they can actually pay for it. But then also you say, I want to raise my prices to have less people that do one-to-one work with maybe. So
mm,
then you can actually then say, I want to get more for each hour I spend with one-to-one
mm,
work and have
mm.
fewer clients instead. So I
Yeah.
can have time to create those packages that are pre-recorded, or maybe a membership where I go in once a month and have a workshop for my peers that are in the group.
Mm,
But then I have more freedom. Like you said, you
mm.
were attracting to be a business person and started your business
Yeah,
because you want to have more freedom.
that's
That's
right.
how you as a coach can have freedom, because I think that a
Mm,
lot of people listening to this are still in the one-to-one. You have, like, I do one-to-one conversations with clients, and I'm having maybe 5 or 8 of them for like an hour every day. And I don't have
mm.
time to talk to potential clients.
That's
And I
right.
don't have the possibility to do more marketing or educate myself. So
Mm,
transition to having more multiple income streams will help you to say,
mm,
I'm going to still do one-to-one calls, but it's going to be
mm,
less of them every
mm,
week. And I'm going to do more where I can help more people at the same time or pre-record. So I have
mm,
that leverage to
mm,
raise my prices and also help more people over time and get the freedom in time where I can do other things instead of
mm.
just being on calls every single day, every single day out and day in. And it burns out people,
Yeah,
which is like unnecessary, I think, because
yeah.
we can do better for ourselves and for our clients, because I don't think that we are the best coaches after 6 calls on one day.
I 100%. Okay, I want to bring up something else, Sarah, here. And I'm an author again of 8 books. Actually, it's my latest book. It's called Medic: Sell More Faster. It's designed for everyone who has a dream they want to fulfill through selling, right? And there are some techniques that I learned as a trauma therapist in one of the chapters in here. Basically, it's a way for people to sell more in a more efficient way. Anyhow, I didn't write the book to become world famous or sell a lot of copies on Amazon, although it's there. I wrote the book to capture my thoughts in the book and be able to give my thoughts to anyone who want to read the book without me being present. And I found through the years that coaches who take the time, it's about 1,000 hours to write the book. Anyhow, who takes the time to do quality materials as a lead magnet, if you would like to do that. But I would say more like a gift and say, hey, before we talk or when we talk, I'd like you to read some of the stuff I done. I'd like you to think about some of the stuff I put into this book. And then we can talk about how some of the stuff actually could work for you. right? Now, by doing this, having this approach, we are different from, I would say, 99% of the coaches who never writes a single word except on Facebook pages. And then we could scale the materials in many ways, right? So I wrote the book. I gave away a few copies, and to my happiness, one of the customers called me up and said, "Hey, I like what's in your book. I like to buy your program." And then the next thing, when I started to ask some questions, the guy said, the CEO said, you talk exactly the way you write in your book. And I said, yeah, that's right. Good observation, because I'm living what's in the book. And said, I like that. Can we start next week? So I sold for $30,000, which is twice as much as the book cost to produce, by one single copy, because he liked what's in the book. And I think ultimately this comes down to the quality of the delivery of the coach, and we have to free our delivery from this one-on-one person call. We have to scale ourselves through e-learning, through books, through PDFs, whatever, so we can have more people to gain access to our thoughts. And once we invest a little bit, over time, I didn't write the book in one single blow. It took almost 2 years. Then we can harvest the investment we've done, and we can improve our coaching calls, because we know sales calls, because we know customer has done some pre-reading about ourselves before. And then we could use the three-step model. We can use the mini stories. We can talk about money, and we can qualify the client. Do they want to work with us? Do we want to work with them, like you said? And then we can actually close the deal. All right, would it be crazy to start this work as soon as possible? People say no. All right, how's your next week? Can we start already there? Or can I send you a link to an e-learning right now, right here? Or you want to buy my book? Or if they don't want to do anything, say, I wish you a great day. Let's talk soon. And you end the call and you talk to someone else, because this qualification is just as important as qualifying the client.
Oh, so true. So that was really good, like an ending point for everyone. But I want to know what your book is called. Where can I find it? And if because I think this is something that you gave so many good golden nuggets today in this conversation. And I know in the book, which I also read, which is amazing, as like you said, you talk that's you write. It's easy to consume the book. So I would say that it would be really, I'm going to put in the show notes. I'm going to put the links to all the places where you can find the book. But what is the book called? And is there like a particular reason why you just wrote that book? Because I know that you wrote a lot of other books.
Yeah, that's right. So the book is on Amazon. It's called Medic Sell More Faster. And you can buy the book at Amazon, and they will print it and ship it to you within a few days. So it's the amazing service to a fairly, I would say, low price, actually. Um, so I wrote the book because I think that, coaches and salespeople are caught in a belief system where they have to win every deal. And coaches and salespeople have difficulties dropping opportunities and clients who will never buy. Okay. So the ability to ask questions that will lead to a buying decision super fast is very important, and it will help us to talk to people who can buy, and spend less time on people who will have difficulties buying, or actually we have to use a lot of time persuading these people to buy. Now, the problem when we use persuasive tactics in getting people to buy something they feel reluctant to buy, or maybe even pushed to buy, is they will cancel the contract, they will not show up, and they will be one-time clients. And we don't want those people. We want people to come year in and year out. Okay. And if you have a feeling that this person could be, we could argue so the person will eventually buy, I wouldn't say don't do that. Don't try to manipulate people to buy something they're not foolhardy to do, because it's not only going to create problems for you. They might not pay the bill, they might not show up, they will most likely cancel the workshop, and then you have to use some cancellation clauses to get them back on the workshop. So you want to work with people who are genuine intent to buy from you. And the model I show you, that's also in the book here, with the questions and the mini stories and how you talk about money will help you to be able to make that judgment call.
That really good. And if I do not buy your book, or if I buy your book, I want to like follow you along. Where do I connect with you? Is it like LinkedIn, Facebook? Where is the best way to get connected with you?
Well, the best way is to call me, but the second best way is to connect through LinkedIn because I'm very active on LinkedIn, and you can find Jens P. Edgren on LinkedIn. I'm also a little bit on Facebook, but not as much as I used to be because I need to invest my time where I feel I get the most value, and that's actually at this point in time is LinkedIn.
Oh, okay, good. And we have something really amazing. I think that we are going to launch. We're going to launch a specific training based on this as well, where you can have Jens talk to you about the workshop that's specifically for coaches that are a way of actually being more authentic. So, can you please tell us a little bit more about the workshop that we are creating?
Absolutely. All right. So if you're a coach or a service provider, you could be in healthcare, maybe a massage therapist or whatever you doesn't matter. But you are selling your service to uh, either businesses or individual clients, right? So in this course, we're going to teach you, me and Sarah, some specific skills. And the skills are about creating curiosity and safety through questioning. And we're going to teach you how to use mini stories, how to help customer to, let's say, develop their dream or wish of change. All right. And then we're going to show you how to talk about money in a way it feels viable for the customer to spend the money. Right. So we're going to show you, let's say it's a 3-step process. Okay, and also give you a script to follow. Before each call, you will know what questions to ask, and through the call, you can actually use the script to make sure you stay on track, and also coach yourself afterwards. Did I really get the right answers? Did I miss anything? So you can do your proper self coaching. And as you have this script for coaching, you will be able to go back to the call and make each call just a little bit better. In the course, we're also going to have Q&A, so you can ask live Q&A questions. We're also going to give you a set of questions that we have pre-answered, so you can find maybe your difficulty or where you struggle, and you can find that in the menu of Q&A and say, hey, okay, I got this problem. I have difficulties finding high-paying clients. How can I do? And we're going to give you an answer straight away, with direct advice how to achieve that. So by having this course, you will find new and different ways of improving your sales success. And I just want to end this short pitch here with a few words. A CEO just told me before the call here today. He said the definition of our success is that we sell a lot because that means we helped a lot of people. So I think that's a beautiful definition. So actually, the money you make, in a way, it's a proof that you are delivering your value to people, and then you can afford to do charity work as well, so we don't have to compromise with our generosity. Does it make sense, Sarah?
Oh, yes, it's lovely. Thank you so much. So we will have some information about the workshop underneath the this interview, and it's actually also a really good deal for you if you listen into this, because you have specific code that you can use and get a really good discount on this. So we're gonna premiere our listeners and viewers of this show to make sure that you get the most of this conversation and can take it to the next level together with us. So. Thank you so much, Jens, for today. Is there anything that you want to say as a closing that we didn't mention before?
Yeah, Sarah, I just want to, from the depth of my heart, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for helping people that needs help. I want to thank you for all the work, the hours, the travels I know you do around the globe to help other people to be successful, just like you are. And I'm happy to be a part of that journey. I'm also need your help. So having this conversation helps me to clarify some of my thoughts as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a joy to have you here. And we will see each other at the next workshop that we're going to do with our clients. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.